DDDs was always seen as one of the most complicated decks in Yu-Gi-Oh's history. That was because of all of the different routes of plays you can make in the deck compared to others. This is what made it appealing to a lot of experienced players and fans of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V anime. For OCG players, they got to experience the attendance of DDDs in their metagame for a while. For TCG players, we cannot say the same. The OCG received the Pendulum Domination Structure deck a whole year before we would eventually get it. When we got it in the TCG, it would only take a few weeks for the deck to get power crept. With the release of Raging Tempest, the Zodiac archetype dominated the meta and made almost every other deck irrelevant. That included the DDD deck that was recently given the rest of their support in the previous month. This made many people disappointed as many players were looking forward to the rise of DDDs in the TCG. Zodiac dominated the meta until September 2017, but it was already too late for DDDs to make their comeback. The new Master Rule ruined the DDD deck, and all hopes for the deck being good in the future were gone. That is until the release of their new support in Battle of Chaos. The new support from the current core booster set and their Link monster gave them new ways to play the deck. The deck evolved from being a 3 to 4 card combo deck with a variety of routes to revolving around Abyss King, Gilgamesh, and level 4 monsters. Even though the deck failed in the OCG, some people figured that it had something to do with Maxi heavily punishing the deck. We've seen the same thing with the recent Lyrla support. It did nothing in the OCG, yet it became one of the best decks in our previous format. The difference between Lyrlus in the previous format and DDDs in the current format is the importance of the Adventurer, Enforcer, and Halifybrex engine. Almost every deck in the format is running one or more of these three engines, and if your deck isn't, you're at an extreme disadvantage. The value these engines gives to these decks are more interruptions and allow them to be more resilient. The most detrimental thing about combo decks in this format is that your deck must play enough hand traps to stop the artifact scythe combo that would otherwise stop you from playing. All of these factors are against the DDD deck, but someone managed to go against all odds. Pac took his DDD deck to the recent Remote Duel YCS and ended up making it all the way to top 8. What was so unique about his deck was that many people weren't prepared for the matchup as people didn't know what any of his cards did. The surprise factor with newer or lower tier decks is that you can win simply due to the fact that people don't know how to properly stop your cards or when to interrupt the combo. What is also interesting about the deck is how many hand traps Pac managed to fit in the deck. Previously, it was hard to find space for a few staple cards in the previous builds, but with the new support, it allows the deck to have more spots for hand traps to stop the other combos in the format. Even though his deck went against all odds, it was so well made that it managed to get him this far into the tournament. Underdog decks have always existed in Yu-Gi-Oh!, but it seems as of recent years, there's been many outbreaks for these rogue strategies. Whether it's a fluke or not is yet to be proven, but seeing a combo deck not running any of the popular engines is a breath of fresh air. It gives us hope that not every deck needs to play a pile of good engines to compete in the meta. It also shows that with a well-prepared deck and an answer to the dominant engines can possibly give these rogue strategies success at events. For a deck that was essentially robbed of its competitiveness in the TCG, it made a lot of people happy that this deck performed well as it did. Hopefully this isn't a repeat of history and the DDD deck will continue to see success here in the TCG. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the short discussion and let me know how you feel about DDDs in the current format. Thank you guys for watching and tune in for more brief discussions about the current metagame.